I will continue to discuss the architecture prevailing in the sub-imperial monuments built by nobility. And now I would like to discuss a very important structure, a very ruined structure near Sikandra, especially on the southern side of the tomb of Akbar. This ruined structure, here it is a protected structure, and inadvertently Archaeological Survey of India display a blue board here that declares it's a early Lodi building. The architectural analysis, its space organization, don't compel us never to agree with this signboard. Though, let me discuss its architecture and then we will reach on a conclusion. This structure is having a story beneath the ground. It's an octagonal structure, and it's a Baghdadi octagon, irregular octagon, and where the cardinal sides are equal to each other and diagonal sides are equal to each other. This structure serves as a platform to the main building. Main building is existing in the center of this lower platform. This platform, each side of the platform is composed of a arcade. That arcade sunk into the depth of the platform. While the cardinal cardinal arch of this structure and the corner arch, and again the central arch of the chamfered corner, diagonal corner, accommodates a water channel, and the water channel opens in a octagonal tank that sunk in the center of this platform. It indicated this structure was built on a water bodies. It serves as a pleasure palace. Now you see this arch accommodates a passage. This passage leads to the central octagonal chamber. Similarly, what was happened on each side, this structure was built in the center of some water bodies, and in this water bodies the architecture has been manipulated, and this structure concealed a very important, you can see, the water channels and water devices. Above this structure, above this platform, the terrace of this platform can be approached through the twin staircases that flank the central arches that accommodate the passage. The arch having a passage is flanked on both sides by staircases to reach on the terrace of this octagonal platform, irregular octagon. In the center of this irregular octagonal platform, the main structure is situated. This structure is in a very ruinous condition. All the corners have been broken down, have been deteriorated, have been erased out, leaving their foundation intact. This structure, if we assess on the basis of its foundation of this structure and the standing portion of this structure, this drawing can be prepared, has been prepared. This structure is square where corners were chamfered, and it is built on a hast-behist plan, non-tripartite plan. The central octagonal chamber is surrounded by the cardinal chambers and corner chambers. Corner chambers are double-storied chambers. And now you know the facade of this structure is composed of the arches. The cardinal chamber is providing a cardinal chamber is providing a opening in the central arch. This central arch of the is situated in the center of a one facade, is built in the form of a alcove. They are flanked by another alcove, and the entrance, the corner chambers have been provided a opening at the diagonal side, at the in the chamfered corner. And meaning by each side, each side having a five arched alcoves, where the central alcove is having a entrance to the cardinal chambers, and two flanking entrance provide access to the corner chambers. Though each facade is built of a five arches, where the three arches are functional, and so far as the octagonal, so far as the cardinal chambers are concerned, they were built apsidal on both sides. They were built apsidal on both sides. They were connected with the corner chambers. There an entrance, a passage is provided in the center of the apse on both sides to enter into a corner chambers, and some arched alcoves, arched passage has been provided. One arched passage opens towards outside, another arched passage connected it with the octagonal central chamber, and this arched opening spaciously open in a alcove. And this corner chambers are also octagonal, and these corner chambers are also connected with the side of cardinal chambers, and diagonally it is also connected with the central octagonal chamber. If we assess this plan, ground plan of this structure, you know, if we assess the ground plan of Humayun's tomb and ground plan of the Taj Mahal, and this on the basis of the assessment of this ground plan of this structure, I found this structure, so far as chronologically, stand in between tomb of Humayun and the Taj Mahal. And its space arrangement, ground plan, never ditto any ground plan prevailing under the Lodhis. It is typically a Mughal building, though it was constructed during the period of Akbar or in the early period of Akbar. This structure have no, so far as the space arrangement is concerned, it was no connection with the Lodhis. And inner, the side corner chambers providing access to the oblong structure form this apse on both sides. Cardinal oblong structure forms a apse on both sides, and it opened into it provided a traviate opening, and through traviated opening the oblong cardinal chamber is connected with the corner chambers. Every opening, whether it's an arch or traviated, is surmounted by the arched opening. These arched openings built for serve as a ventilation, and it relieves the inner side from suffocation. And the central octagonal chamber, each side of the central octagonal chamber is accommodate the traviated openings. While at the cardinal we have a great arch alcove that accommodate the traviated opening. It is a cardinal entrance surmounted by the arched opening to relieve the suffocation and provide while the diagonal entrance, diagonal passage coming from the corner chambers opens into a alcove. This alcove is a very beautiful alcove, and it provides a depth. It was built on a oblong plan, and the alcoves that accommodates the diagonal passage are more ornamented, is more accomplished in the comparison of the alcoves existing at the cardinal point. Now the roofing system. You know, the central chamber is surmounted by a concave. Central chamber is surmounted by a concave ceiling. Roof is flat, but inside the ceiling is concave. It is created now, you know, trabeated opening is surmounted by the arched opening to relieve the inner side with suffocation, and above arch, the second stage of the phase of transition is achieved through the corbelling, and the zones of the zones of the phase of transition are stucco-plasters and carrying the arch netting. And this design inner self, yeah, accommodates the corbelled, which was used to convert this octagonal chamber into a octagonal corner chamber into a circle to have a concave roof. And now these arch netting has been executed on the surface of the corbel that was used in the phase of transition. These arch netting is very prominent, and above the ceiling is having a design that is typically belonging to the Jahangiri period. So far as the alcoves are concerned, alcoves are that accommodates the diagonal passage coming from the corner chambers, or opening in the alcoves, the passage coming from corner chambers are having a half-domed alcoves. This ceiling of half dome is created through the squinchage, and above having a arch netting. Again, this arch netting motif has been created on the stucco plaster. On the stucco plaster, and from the analysis, architectural analysis, and the analysis of the space organization, this building is a tomb building or maybe a pleasure palace. It was built a whole barter structure, whole barter body is integrated with this structure, and this structure was created with the bricks, and interior and exterior was heavily plastered with stucco, and whatever decoration and ornamentation we come across, I found it is on the plasters, on the stucco plaster. With this, you know, analysis of the architecture and space organization, we can place this structure somewhere at the end of Akbari period or beginning of the Jahangiri period. Most probably it was built in the beginning of period of Jahangir. Another important structure, again it is situated at Agra. It is locally known as a Junjun Katora. It is situated in the compound of the district court at Agra. This structure in itself, a octagonal structure, each side at the cardinal point having a alcoves, half-domed alcoves, which were built on a oblong plan, while the diagonal alcoves built on a hexagonal plan. This structure is having a perfect octagon exteriorly existing on an octagon platform, and this platform is having a height, and this height can be we can reach to the terrace of this platform through the staircases provided at the cardinal point. This structure is composed of a central square chamber. This central square chamber is surrounded at the cardinal point by the alcoves, and while outer side, each side of the octagon is contains a alcove type of the arch, and these are the big alcoves. So far as the cardinal alcoves are concerned, these cardinal alcoves are accommodated a trabeated entrance to the inner side. This trabeated entrance is surmounted with a arched openings. Again, this arched opening is meant to relieve the inner suffocation. And now this half ceiling of this half dome portal has been created, half dome, with the help of the squinchage, and above the ceiling of this half dome is stucco plaster that carries the design of arch netting, and this whole alcove is given is double story effect, and the lower story in the center is having a trabeated openings towards inner side, and it was built on a oblong plan, and the central trabeated door is flanked by the arched niche on the upper side, and the side walls also having a arched niche on the upper side, and these two stories are demarcated with the help of the cornice. While at diagonal chambers, they were built on a hexagonal plan, and each hexagonal side is accommodating a segment, is accommodating a arched niche, but rather trabeated niche on each side, while half dome ceiling of the half dome pattern was built on the same pattern that we found in the cardinal alcoves. These two stories here is again demarcated by cornice, and the corner is also embellished with a arch, and this arched niche, that is a blind arch niche. Inner side, outer of this structure is remain very plain, while inner side is decorated highly. Each alcove, inner side, we have a 4 beautiful alcoves at the cardinal points. These alcoves are built on a oblong plan, and above these alcoves are divided in double story. Lower story is having a cornice, and below the cornice having a calligraphic band, inscribed calligraphic band, and below in the first story having a trabeated opening in the center that connects it with the outer side, and the two walls are having a niche on the upper side. This after cornice, this whole alcove is conceived in the form of a ceiling of half domed, and it consists of a blind archage and squinchage, and the squinchage help this to convert into a some sort of the circle. Above the ceiling of this half dome is heavily plastered, and above the plaster such type of the star decoration has been created. A geometrical design has been created. Again, this geometrical design was cut in the stucco, and it's a closer view of the calligraphic band that runs below the cornice. Above this cornice, these arches were having a panel, and this panel in the central place of this panel remain plain, while having a border of the stylized floral and geometrical designs. Inner side is highly decorated. while outer side exterior of this structure remain unfinished. By the analysis, architectural and decorative analysis of this structure was built during the period of Akbar, but it was having a modification and repair in the period of Jahangir. This structure locally is known as a Jhunjhun Katora, and the central chamber is surmounted by the dome. Dome is placed on a octagonal drum, where the each side of the octagonal drum is conceived in the form of a arched niche. And once this dome is having a inverted lotus and finials, the shape of the dome is not a bulbous, it belongs to the early period of the Jahangir. Another important building built by Novel is a Lal Masjid. This Lal Masjid is found in a dilapidated condition, and preservation and conservation were carried on, and this structure, half of this structure was fell down, and rest of the half of this mosque was preserved by creating a new support to it. Basically, this mosque is composed of a western Levan, and in front of western Levan having a courtyard. So far as the western Levan is concerned, it is having a central nave flanked by two edges on each side, and nave and nave and flanking double edges are having a two-edge deep, meaning by the western Levan of this structure of this mosque is divided into a 10 square wedge of equal size. It was basically a modification of the Chahartak concept, and presently the central nave, here the central nave is surmounted by the dome that is placed on a high-rise octagonal drum, and flanking easily is also surmounted by the dome, and these domes are very prominent and having a prominent inverted lotus petals. And this mosque is built on a by a red sandstone. That's why it is known as Lal Masjid. So far as the center of the western Levan is concerned, western wall of the western Levan is concerned, it accommodates a hexagonal mihrab, and the portion of the nave is projected towards outside. Its inner, this building is built with the cusp arches, multifolded arches, and four arches created a square wedge. And this square wedge, when created by this area, is enclosed in the form of a square, and with the help of R, it is totally based on the alcove, totally based on the Chahartak. And the extreme, on the northern and southern extreme, we have some compartment in the form of a alcove, and this alcove is divided into two, built on a oblong plan, and alcove is divided into two-story with the help of the cornice, and above half-domed ceiling of the half-dome is created with the help of the stone, and above the cornice we have a arcades of the blind arches. And these arches which have been used in the building of this mosque, they are engraved and cusp arches. And so far as the dome's central dome is concerned, its ceiling was created by the course of the stones and the keystone of the stones. Whether you know, this structure is built with a brick, and this brick was veneered and covered with red sandstone. And everywhere we have a brick masonry, but brick masonry was covered with a red sandstone. This structure was mutilated, and half of this structure was built, and you know, This is a central mehrab. This is a mehrab, a hexagonal mehrab of the stone which was placed in the center of the western wall of the nave. It is flanked by the arch on both sides, and lower portion is having a rectangular panel. On the right side, this mihrab is having a member of 3 storied. The structure is built with a, and you know, here the arches, multi-cusp arches are not 2 arches, but the stone cut in the shape of the different pieces of the stone shape. The arch is created by having a 4 or 5 stone pieces. They cut in the form of a multi-cusp and put together to form a arch. Above the mihrab, we have a calligraphy which was changed and mutilated by the modern occupation. Arch, so far as the dome is concerned, dome is built with brick and it was veneered with red sandstone. These domes were placed on an octagonal chamber, octagonal drum. This octagonal drum is having a cornice at the roof level, above that having a guldasta motif, and this guldasta motif created a circular rim to place this dome above. And so far as these domes are surrounded, domes are crowned with a heavy inverted, very prominent inverted lotus petals, and their finials have been lost. It's a rear view, and above at the roof level having a domed square pillared pavilion, 2 on the agile side, 2 on the wings of the agiles, while 1 on in the center of the nave. And nave projection towards western side is having a 2 octagonal minar at the corners which came out from the nook shaft, which are having a base of the nook shaft. Above cornice at the roof level, above cornice we have a inscribed or carved railing was built. Here the guldasta motif was the theme of this railing. And this mosque at the rear side is existed on a 1 story, and this story was created with the help of the brick masonry, and earlier there was some rooms at the back side of the mosque which were deteriorated in the course of time. Another important structure is the tomb of Jafar Khan. Tomb of Jafar Khan is composed of a central square chamber surrounded by the cloisters, where all the corners of the cloisters are occupied by octagonal basins on each side. Each side of the cloisters is composed of 7 arches, where the central arches is bigger, and so far as the central chamber is concerned, central chamber is provided an arch opening at the cardinal points. This central chamber is connected with the cloisters at the cardinal point, having a arched entrance. So far as the roof of the central chamber is concerned, it is flatly roofed and having a vaulted, square vault ceiling. Here the arches have been used multi-cusp arches, though inner side the arch is simple. And this structure has been highly mutilated, and presently it was enclosed by some person and carrying a gosala in it. And the central chamber is flanked with is surmounted with a flat roof, and this flat roof got support from the corbelling that projected inside from all sides, providing an extra strength to this flat roof. The corners of this structure conceived in the form of a little bit traviated octagonal basins, and these basins are having a projected eaves on all sides based on a brackets. And arches which we found are these arches that the arches that provides opening towards outside of the cloisters fixed in a rectangular frame, and this rectangular frame is having a arched niches placed vertically, three-storied arch niches. In the center, a square niche was executed having a circular medallion. Above this arch, we have a panels placed horizontally. So far as the pillar is concerned, or cloisters having a squarish shaft and the dome base that is a poor imitation of the Shahjahani architecture, or similarly the capital is also a floral capital, and it is a poor imitation of the Shahjahani period. Another structure which I would like to discuss is a tomb of Salawat Khan. Salawat Khan is also known as Salim Khan or Islam Khan. He served the Mughal Empire in the capacity of paymaster under Shah Jahan. It belongs to the Shahjahani period. Salawat Khan also served as a Bakshi, and he was allotted a land in the Mughal capital of Agra to build his mansions. It is very interesting. It is also known as Chausat Khamba, and here we have a platform. This platform can be providing access through the staircases on staircases situated at the cardinal point. This platform is occupied by a domed square pillared pavilion at all the four corners. In the center, we have a pillared pavilion, and this pillared pavilion is composing a chahar thak, where the a square area is enclosed by putting a four arches, and in this way, this structure is having a 25 chahar thak, 25 square way has been created. And this structure at the corner is having a cluster of four pillars, while outer side two twin pillars have been placed. Again, these twin pillars and cluster of four pillars used here to harmonize the lateral thrust of the building. Above these pillars having a arches, and above this arches we have a projected eaves which was deteriorated in the course of time, supporting on the. This is an inner view, and here each square way is surmounted by a concave ceiling, and these corner chhatris are painted, and their squinches, their ceilings were highly painted with arch netting. And I stop here. Thank you very much.